Alright guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video. So we officially got the global data download here. And this includes Hatchiyack. Giant Hatchiyack is coming to global as well. So that is pretty cool. So I guess, yeah, these are the characters we're getting. Kale, Frost, Giant Hatchiyack, and Kale and Caulifla. I guess I was maybe a little surprised to see Kale and Caulifla already in the data download, but like this is about the range that I was expecting them to drop in, right? Kind of like that 14th to 18th range next week. Now this global is probably not getting a data download next week, and then I would imagine the next data download that global is going to get is actually going to be probably for the countdown, like the countdown to the worldwide download celebration. So like the WWDC countdown, like celebration to the actual celebration thing, I think is what's going to happen. So, all right, let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got here. So, I guess we'll start with Kale and Frost, and then we'll move on to Hatchiyack and Kale and Caulifla. So, Kale is very good. Kale is a very dominant, powerful unit. I think she's probably one of the better units in the game, like potentially a borderline top 10 unit in the game, contender, like a contender, right? Like she's up there for sure. In base, Kale is pretty effective. She just can't really be running slot 1, right? She gets a lot of her defensive ability, right? Not only from this right here, 60% defense on super attack, and then she builds up this damage reduction, but like Kale can really just be a workhorse, man. Super attack right there, super attack right there, so she could quad super, building up damage reduction, doing a ton of damage. She can really be very outstanding. I just am not really maybe the biggest fan of the leader skill choices they gave her. Universe 6 and Transformation Boost does seem, it's a little clown showish. I don't know why she couldn't have gotten a third leader skill, right? Maybe something like Exploding Rage, Miraculous Awakening, right? You know, one of these like extra categories, Full Power, Super Saiyan 2, even Peppy Gals, anything. The more leader skills on these characters, the better. I really think that all units coming out from this point forward, they really should have all of them have 3 leader skills. I don't think that there's any reason for them not to. That would help us because there's so many small categories. Like I mentioned Miraculous Awakening. You guys want to see the leaders from Miraculous Awakening? Let's take a look at this. Oh, wow. Damn. That's pretty good, huh? That's awesome, dude. Yeah. Like that's exactly why. Like 3 leader skills, and then at least we have a leader for some of these categories, right? Although, to be fair, that UI Goku is very likely to just EZA in 5 or 6 months anyway. Like, that UI Goku's going to EZA in probably, I would assume, February of 2024, right? With the 9th anniversary is when that UI Goku will probably EZA. Because they've been EZAing the anniversary characters during the anniversary. Him and Evolution Blue Vegeta are next up. Dude, that's crazy. Because after they EZA, then it's the 7th anniversary. So, like, oh my god, it's going to be nuts. Alright, but yeah, Kale is super good. When you transform into Super Saiyan 2 Kale, this is where she gets really crazy. I mean, she's guarding, she has built-in crits, built-in additionals. I mean, she is actually just doing so much. I think Kale is beyond a dominant character. I love her. This is my, like, especially right here, this is my type of character, right? Built-in additionals, built-in crit, so you know what that leaves us for. Give her the dodge, and you're good to go. Guarding, dodging, critting, and built-in additionals. That is a W for Kale right there. Kale, in my experience, once you get to her Super Saiyan 2 form, she's one of the more impressive characters in the game. I want to keep repeating myself about this. The way this works is that every super attack she does, she is stacking a crit chance. So her first super attack is a 30% chance to crit. Her second super attack is a 60% chance to crit. Third super is a 90% chance to crit. And then her fourth super is a guaranteed crit. Right? Very strong and impressive design on Kale. Then we have Frost. Frost is pretty much just a shitty character. Unfortunately, a character who you're never going to run. I have no idea why they decide to sometimes they make these banner unit characters absolutely ridiculous. Other times they make them just like pretty worthless, right? If this Frost simply had dodge, guard, damage reduction, way higher start of turn defense, something. If he had something, this guy would be a significant asset towards Kale, because Kale needs Universe 6 allies. Now, to be fair, you know, she only needs one, really. Like, she just needs one Universe 6 category ally on the first turn, and it gets her an extra 160% attack and defense. An additional has a 70% chance to be a super, right? Like, really, really powerful. And then, of course, in Super Saiyan 2 form, the Universe 6 category ally gives her guaranteed guard and then the 160% defense. So Kale really needs Universe 6 characters, but they made Frost so shitty. I mean, he's a transformation boost support type unit. He gets this unit super attack with Frieza for some reason. Like, this should have almost just been like they should have made Frost like just work well to support Kale. And this could have been a Frost and Frieza character. And it could have been a separate character entirely, I think is what they should have done. And not released him in a celebration where we need Universe 6 for Kale, right? Like, for sure. And this guy, I mean, he gets all these buffs and stupid shit like this when the enemy's debuffed. I mean, he's got, you know, oh, he could seal, and he's got the stun, and he's got the debuffs and stuff like that. And that's all well and good, but in the really tough fights, which is where you want summonable characters really can help, and you really need them when you're going into fights. Like, these debuffs and stuff like that don't do anything in the toughest fights, which is where the summonable character should be helping, right? Like, they could save all this type of stuff for free-to-play characters and sub EZAs and stuff like that. Like, a summonable character like Frost, I mean, this guy being, you know, mid like he is unacceptable. This guy, Dr. Zhou and Dr. Mew, the adult baby card that came out Super Saiyan 4 Goku, the STR Gohan that came out with Trunks, right? Like, all these mid banner units, it just really sucks. So he's just not really anything too special. Then we have Giant Hatchiyack. Now, Giant Hatchiyack is certainly a little bit of an interesting character. Now, one thing to definitely note is his teams. He's not really on a ton of teams. He doesn't really have a ton of great setups for him. But he does have a giant form. We know how good these giant forms are. This will cancel big boss abilities, right? Now, at the moment, even on JP, this guy came out in November of 2022. Even on JP, we yet do not have enough copies to rainbow this guy, right? I wish that they would just do away with that in Battlefield. This, like, slow-ass, like, amount of time to be able to rainbow the character. It sucks. One thing that's good about this guy is he does have damage reduction, right? So he gets the baseline 20% damage reduction, and then he gets another 20% damage reduction against a pure Hybrid Saiyan enemy. So he, of course, will be a lot better if we're actually able to get pure and Hybrid Saiyan enemy like red zones or something like that. I think that the worldwide download celebration upcoming could potentially have pure and Hybrid Saiyan red zones. I feel like Turles seems like a bit of a weird release if they're not going to give us like another really tough fight to be able to activate his intro. Like, I guess maybe like Turles and Super 17 really were made to potentially help in the anniversary event for players, I guess, because, you know, pretty much every single one of those fights outside of what the 5th anniversary and the 1st anniversary, you're fighting Goku. So I don't know. So he's got that, you know, he gets, you know, a little bit of extra buff, you know, on his super attacks, which is cool. I think the Hatchiyack is an okay free-to-play character. I mean, maybe if he gets, like, a stronger team for him, right, it would be a little bit better. I don't think, Hatchiyack does not have a 200%, right? The only 200% he might be on that maybe I'm just, like, sort of, like, forgetting about is the fact that he could be on Giant, I guess. Giant, which is this one right here. Is he on Orange Piccolo's 200%? He's not, right? Yeah, he doesn't have a 200% Giant Hatchiyack. So maybe he could get some sort of good team where he gets a 200% and stuff like that. He is a Big Bad Boss's character. I mentioned this recently. I feel like people don't actually realize how dire it is for Big Bad Bosses, right? Like, you've got some hitters in here and stuff like that, some really effective characters. But just the way that they've structured villains in general right now, a lot of these Big Bad Bosses characters, I would argue, are in a pretty bad spot. We need, like, a real impact. We need, like, multiple best unit in the game contenders that have big bad bosses, because there's just characters that are so limited, like Int Cell and AGL Carnival Omega, these strong, like Fusion Zamasu, these strong big bad bosses characters who for one reason or another can't really effectively be used to their full potential, right? So we'll see what's going to happen. And then the final unit we have here is Kale and Caulifla. This is, the more time goes on, the more I actually sour on this character. They literally have the exact same kit as when they came out in April of 2019, right? And it's like they just, I don't think that they were given enough with their EZA. I don't think they're good enough. The more I use them, the more frustrated I get. They are so weak at the start. I think if you get like a good clean run, right? If they give you a couple of turns of triple super attacks and stuff like that, right? If, you know, you're able to build up their dodge and build up their defense, but this unit is just really not that impressive. It's just so easy for them to get caught. They're so bad turn one. It's just frustrating because, I mean, you guys remember this unit was the best unit in the game by far. This is probably a top 5 strongest character ever on release. They would certainly make the top 5, I think, without a doubt. STR Gogeta, this character. I mean, I feel like AGL Super Vegito probably makes it on there as well. Oh my god, the 7th anniversary LRs would have to be on there. Oh my god, of course they would, yeah. They have to be on there as well. That could be a good video. Like, top 10 strongest characters ever on release. Oh, that would be fun. I feel like you have to put Gogeta, STR Gogeta at 1. Kale and Caulifla potentially could even be 2, though. They could. I mean, I'd have to really sit down and think about it, but they would definitely be on that list. But, again, their kit is mostly unchanged. The only real thing they got is this. This is basically it. This is essentially the only addition that they have. You know what would be easier to show this is actually if we just look at the global damn wiki. Duh. I'm a damn moron. The data download happened. So let's look at their base, right? So they've got the attack and defense, the additional. They build up, you know, key and dodge from attacking, and then they get the buff from these categories, and then they get the additional super against the categories, right? So then they get their EZA. This is the same thing, right? I guess they just get an additional added to that. No, it's okay, right. It's the same, like they get an additional just like before, but now it has a chance to be a super attack, whereas previously it couldn't be a super attack, right? Again, this is the new addition right here. But then this is the same, this is the same, and this is the same. Yeah, this is the problem with this character. This is the only new thing they got. You want to know how you could fix this character? They guard for the first 3 turns. It's not rocket scientist. It's not, well, rocket scientist. I can't talk today. It's not rocket science. That would allow this character to help out Kale a lot. Now, they probably would still get... That would not be unbalanced at all, by the way. Their defense is so low turn 1. Even if they were guarding turn 1, they would get blasted, man. They would probably still take a lot of damage. The difference is that you don't just instantly die with them turn 1. Again, they could be better. They can perform well, but it's just a character you need a lot of luck with, right? Because Kale is not going turn 1, slot 1. Kale and Caulifla are not going turn 1, slot 1. Frost is not going turn 1, slot 1. So it's like, if you're running Kale's team, it's like, all right, we better bust out, you know, LR Golden Freezer or something like that. Because that's, like, all Universe 6 characters, besides, like, Tech Hit, but Tech Hit's not good anyway, they all have the same weakness, which is that they all suck right away, and then they slowly build up, right? But when it's bad when the entire, like, roster has the same weakness. So... There's Kale and Caulifla. You know, as the fight goes on and they stack defense and they build up their dodge chance, they're pretty good. But, I mean, it takes a long-ass time to get to that point, man. A long-ass time. And we just got a fight that goes on for a very long time where they could do that. But literally the first phase is type disadvantage for them, and he cancels dodge, right? So in my experience, they get destroyed by Tech Omega. But, you know, it is what it is. So let me know what you guys think of the global data download. Definitely cool to see Hatchiyack, I think, show up. And then, of course, you know, the girls, and then, of course, we have Frost as well. Kale and Caulifla are still a strong unit, even if I am growing to hate them. And then, of course, DOKKANFEST Kale, I think is, you know, she probably is one of my favorite units of the year. She just got no help, right? And it's different. Like, she's just so powerful, but she actually just has no help, right? It's sad. It's not like Super 17 is riddled with flaws. I think Super Trunks is riddled with flaws. Kale's not like that. She's just has weak units around her, right? So, let me know what you guys think of Kale. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.